What's going on, guys? So today is a bit of a weird video. This was from my Q&A, but it wasn't a question, so it couldn't be in a Q&A. So I decided to just make it a Spider-Man topic, just a video itself. And this is interesting. So basically, this is from, well, it's not a question, but this is from Colby Vlach. I'm sorry, I can't really pronounce your name. I'll leave his name and everything in the description, his channel, everything. Because that's how usually my Q&As work. If you ask me a question in my Q&A videos, only in my Q&A videos though, if it's a question, you get a shout out and I read your question and answer it. That's how it works. So, he says, again, it's not a question, so I couldn't put it as a Q&A. But I wanted to do this because this is an interesting thing that he wanted to know what I like more. He says, rank your favorite Spider-Man between Josh Keaton, Christopher Daniel Barnes, Drake Bell, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland. Well, you already know who's on the bottom of the list if you follow my channel and you know me. But this was a very, very good. I can't. It's not a question, but this is very interesting. I've never actually sat down and thought about until a few minutes ago what was my ranked favorites of these Spider-Men. I really, really liked this. If you guys have anything like this as far as me ranking Spider-Man or other superheroes, because this is a cool question. So, number 6, obviously, because this is out of 6. Number 6 is obviously Tom Holland. Yeah, well, cause he's going to go on the bottom of the list. The reason why he's on the bottom of the list is because I didn't like Spider-Man Homecoming. I did like him in Civil War. But I was tricked. You see. I thought it was the Spider-Man who was going to college and who was trying to get into the Stark Expo, to get like a certain science degree or something. The movie tricked me. I thought he was in college. I thought they were going the comic book amazing route. That's not what happened. And it completely did a 180 on my ass. And another one of the reasons why I didn't like the movie was because I felt tricked. But as far as positives, and I have to go back to Civil War, he is funnier. He's funnier in Civil War. He's not funny in Homecoming. He, is a good. I can't say good. He's okay. He's what we have. He is the Spider-Man that we have, but not the one we want or not the one we need, in my opinion. But yeah, number 6. All right, so moving on to number 5, Drake Bell. The reason why he's at my number 5 is because Drake Bell, when I watched the TV show, it was very cartoony. Very, very cartoony. It was very... It was cartoony for the sake of being cartoony. But I felt like it did do a good job to be serious in certain parts, and I do feel like Drake Bell did a good job with the voice of Spider-Man. Because usually, like, when you do the voice of Spider-Man, you want to make sure that, you're funny, you know when to kind of differentiate yourself, what's the word? Differentiate, I can't pronounce that word. Knowing how to make your personalities different when you are Spider-Man and when you're Peter Parker. That's very important, because when you're Peter Parker, you want to be nerdy, but when you're Spider-Man, you want to be quippy, funny, smart, and yada yada. Well, as Peter Parker can be smart too, but I mean like in a different way. But yeah, I felt like Drake Bell did that in a good way, and I think when he was funny, He made me laugh. I'm not a huge fan of Drake Bell But I can say that I did like him in the Ultimate Spider-Man TV show. And not a lot of people like that show. I thought it was better than the one we have now, in my opinion, but, so, number 4 is Andrew Garfield from the Amazing Spider-Man movies. Now, it took me a while to like the idea of a new Spider-Man in the movies, because the first one we got was Tobey, and then we got Andrew. And then I was on the fence, like, I don't know. Well, and I think that was mostly my friends. I was like that for like a day or two, and then, because this was when I was in high school, then I was like, oh, like, okay, like, I like him, So, it took me a little bit to, get used to Andrew. And the difference with Tom Holland is it's been like 3 different casts for movies. So I guess I just kind of got this fatigue of too many Spider-Men. Yeah. So yeah, I also like Andrew Garfield, I think, also as a person. I've seen a couple videos of him helping out children and stuff. I think that he was a very positive role model also in the movie and on the outside of the movie as Spider-Man, which is something that is always good. You always want that, especially from someone who plays a big role like Spider-Man. You want that. And I think he did a really good job. Moving on to my number 3 is Josh Keaton. And I know a lot of people are probably pissed. But hear me out. Okay? Josh Keaton is a very, very good voice actor for Spider-Man. He not only did it for Spectacular Spider-Man, he did it for, Edge of Time. He did it for the Shattered Dimensions game. He just overall I don't even remember the other types of games or movies that he's done the Spider-Man voice. Because after a while, it's like, I don't remember the voice. But you do recognize the voice. And he's been Spider-Man's voice for a long time, especially in the games and some of the TV shows. But he does a really, really good job. And the best I think I've ever seen him in was Spectacular Spider-Man. And that show itself was great. It just was a shame that we never got like an ending or like a new season or anything. But that stuff happens. All right, so moving on to my number 2 is Tobey Maguire. Yes, it is Tobey Maguire. He is not number 1. I bet a lot of you thought he was going to be number 1. He's not number 1. Let me explain. Tobey Maguire was the very first live-action Spider-Man that I saw in a movie. He was the very first one I saw in the live picture movie. So I was like, all right, I loved it. I was like, wow, like nobody else can do this role. Like that's the definitive Spider-Man. He just did such a good job. Like I loved how he was able to be nerdy, and I loved how a lot of people said he wasn't very good as Spider-Man. He wasn't so quippy and so funny. I agree to an extent. I think he was funny in a lot of things. Remember, he did the video games, the video game movies. He did the movies themselves. So you see what I mean? In total, he did like 6 things. He did the movies and he did the games. So you gotta cut him some slack here, okay? If you want to see him more funny and quippy as Spider-Man, go play a video game. You want to see a more serious movie that's fleshed out more and, it's more realistic and awesome, then watch Spider-Man 1, 2, and if you don't hate it, 3. Alright, so there's only one left. It is obviously Christopher Daniel Barnes. And I bet, and you guys don't know me, so let me explain why. let me explain why Christopher Daniel Barnes is my number one, like, top-ranked Spider-Man, like, voice actor or actor or whatever. Spider-Man, the animated series, was the very, very first TV superhero show that I have ever watched. So, you see what I'm saying? The very first time that I saw Spider-Man, I saw this TV show. And ever since I saw that show, that is how I view Spider-Man, and that is what I think of as the definitive Spider-Man of him, going to college, or he is graduated from college and he's either working or he is just, taking criminals down, stuff like that. He's not the boy, and I know a lot of people like him as in the Ultimate Comics. I don't like that. I like it when he's older, he's more mature, he knows what he's doing, he's at the top of his game, he's really good with his jokes. Because sometimes with some of his jokes when he's younger, he's kind of cheesy. He's kind of But, I like it when he's older because he's smarter, he's funnier. I just like an older Spider-Man. I like the 20-year-old Spider-Man, adult Spider-Man. That's what I think of. And let me explain to you the pattern. There is a pattern here. Like I said, first time I ever saw Spider-Man, the TV show, the animated series, I mean. 2, Tobey Maguire in the very first Spider-Man movie. 3, the Spectacular Spider-Man TV show. And then 4, Andrew Garfield as the Amazing Spider-Man. And then 5, Drake Bell, the Ultimate Spider-Man. And then Tom Holland in Spider-Man in Civil War and Spider-Man Homecoming. So, I bet some of you are like, oh, it's like going back in time. So yes, that's how I listed this, and that is exactly how I rank these. This is exactly how I rank these. Even though I think part of me thinks that my rank here is a little bit, but yeah, that is my 6th ranked Spider-Man. This is a weird video because it's not really, like I said, it wasn't really a question, so I couldn't do a Q&A for this. But I thought this was really cool, and I just wanted to, tell you guys this because, just a little fun fact of, hey, this is, my favorite type of Spider-Man. But yeah, guys, let me know, out of these 6 Spider-Men, Tom Holland, Drake Bell, Andrew Garfield, Josh Keaton, Tobey Maguire, Christopher Daniel Barnes, which top 6 of these guys or other ones is your favorite? It doesn't have to be top 6, it can be 5, 10, I don't care. Just let me know in the comments, and I don't know what I'm going to call this video. I'm going to go figure that out. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. And I'm out of here. Up, and away. See you guys.